So, as you can tell today, we're not focusing on topics that are extremely deep. I mean, who wants to always be focused on really, you know, deep topics? So, sitting here, and this is actually where my wife has her morning quiet time, and it's also kind of doubling as my office currently. And I have at times, in fact, I still am at the moment renting an office, but at the moment I'm officing back in our loft here at home. So, um, anyway, she's got this. She likes to have her colored pencil, her nice fat colored pencil, and to underline things in her Bible. And generally, I found that when I was sitting, we were talking, and I was, these were kind of one of my fidget toys, if you will. And I found that I kind of like having something to. I'm a bit of a fidgety guy, which is kind of funny because, in general, you probably most people perceive my personality as fairly laid back, and yet I still like to. I'm fairly easily bored actually, and I do like something to fidget with. So I was looking at what my options were for something to fidget with, and I was shopping online for something fidgety. So I thought it would be kind of nice to have something fidgety at my desk too, possibly where I work, and so I came across this stuff called thinking putty, and kind of hilariously, I chose a putty that is a nice purple color when you start playing with it, and then as as you're molding it and whatever, it turns into pink, kind of sparkly pink actually, sparkly pink and sparkly purple. Um, so it's kind of hilarious that a nearly 40-year-old man deliberately bought some putty to play with and fidget with. It's interesting putty. It's a silicone putty, so it does a good job of not drying out, I think, and it does not support its own weight essentially. So you can make it into a ball, for instance, but if you leave it sitting on your desk, it will it'll basically form a puddle. So it will go from whatever shape you have it, and maybe it can support itself in a 1 to 2 inch high shape depending on how much you have, right? And then over time it will just flatten out to something like maybe a couple millimeters thick. I guess this is the U.S., so I should probably use some standard measurements, like a 16th or to an eighth of an inch thick. Probably actually closer to a 16th is how much it tends to spread out when it's on a flat surface. So it's quite interesting. So you put it in a little jar. I usually if I keep it in a little jar, yeah, I'll put it in as a ball or whatever shape I happen to have it last, and I'll come back to it, and it'll look like a liquid in the jar because it's completely flat basically in the jar. So I do kind of like the name too, thinking putty. It kind of has a nice quality of like maybe this helps. This is sort of a like meditation tool or something to use to formulate thoughts we're thinking. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you may or may not disagree with the idea that the thoughts that I think are worth thinking, but I do believe some of them are worth thinking, even if ones about putty perhaps are not as worth thinking about. Anyway, thank you for tuning in on today's episode of Coffee with Craig. I guess that's what we'll call it for this time. All right, goodbye.